welcome to WeluvLa. Today is Tuesday, January the 5th. We are on the first Tuesday of the year, so Happy New Year. First and foremost, I always like to acknowledge the artists that I have playing in the background of all of my videos. And so the artist that I am playing for the week is Charles Murdoch. How I came across Mr. Murdoch was just randomly playing some music on Pandora, and you know, whatever the genre that you selected, it would just kind of play a plethora of the same thing. And so came across this artist some years ago and absolutely fell in love, and I started to follow and play more of his music. And so here we go. So real cool, real chill. Absolutely love the fact that it's just really cool and really chill. And so with that being said and done, I will go ahead and just get into the meat and potatoes of today. So I wanted to make a public announcement. So starting next week, I will be moving the Tuesday talks to Monday. So we are now moving to Mondays at 7:30. So go ahead and make sure that you double tap on the video. Also subscribe to my YouTube channel at Where We Going Now She, and also turn on the notifications so whenever I do start a new live or if I'm posting new content, you do want to make sure that you are notified. And so with that being said and done, little topic I wanted to discuss for this evening is the new year. We're now in 2021. A lot of people were so disgusted about 2020 and all of the things that's happened, pandemic, and lives have been lost, and there was new lives created. Jobs have been lost, but there were new jobs created. I mean, it was a lot of emotional roller coasters that, you know, 2020 brought. And so I kind of wanted to speak about, you know, just understanding boundaries and strategies when it comes to, you know, how do you maneuver through things. And so I will say for me, 2020 was that year for clarity, because that is something that I was manifesting. I wanted to have more clarity in my life and more confidence and patience. So patience was the number one thing. And I can say the pandemic sat a lot of us down, and it created us patience. And for me, I can only speak for me, but for me, it was more patience that I needed to learn with myself and have with myself and others. And so that was a lot of clarity for me. And moving into 2021, it's also given me ideas and opportunities on how I'm supposed to create boundaries in my life and not allow little things, you know, that would normally make me upset to be moving forward with those same type of triggers. And so something I wanted to talk about, like I had mentioned, are strategies and how do you maneuver, do things in creating boundaries. There was this one book that I had bought on Audible, which was called Boundaries, and it have a lot of biblical principles in it. Now, if you are not for, you know, Christianity or the Bible or however you play, it may not be a book that you may like. I'm not going to just label myself and say that, yes, I am a diehard Christian, but I will say that, you know, having the principles in this book based off of some of the principles in the Bible, it actually makes sense into a lot of things that we do. And so, you know, when it comes to putting yourself first, saying no, that's the number one thing. Saying no to some things it's really important. And so that was, you know, a game changer for me, where my whole life I've always done things spreading myself thin, trying to please and accommodate so many people, and I couldn't. And then I was always allowing myself to be put last. And so moving into 2021, I cannot allow myself to be put last, and I share with you all to make sure that you don't put yourself last. Make sure that you are putting yourself first. If you have kids, put yourself first. If you have family members, put yourself first. And I don't mean this in a selfish way of I don't care about nobody, I don't like nobody, but this is more about self-loving yourself, because if you do not take care of yourself, then how can you take care of anybody else? The same way, if you don't love yourself, how can you love somebody else? The same way, if you don't save money, how can you tell somebody else to save money? Or how can you tell somebody to do something that you don't do or you have not experienced? And so, based off of my experience, I have been putting myself last. And so, New Year's resolutions is, putting myself first, and I pray blessings and abundance for everybody to make sure that you are making yourself the priority for this year. Do whatever it is that you are supposed to do that make you happy. And so that's the boundaries. That's the the strategy. So strategies. Why did I want to talk about strategies? Well, everything has a strategy, and I never realized that there is a strategy to life. Now, there's games, there's video games, there's board games. One of my favorite board game is Monopoly. And I never really understood playing Monopoly until one day I really sat there and started paying attention. Once I started looking at how the other players would play, that's when I started to realize, like, hey, here is a strategy. So, number one question. Whoever has played Monopoly before, what are the two spots that everybody is fighting to either buy or fighting to avoid to land on? Park Place and Boardwalk. Those are the two spots that everybody is rushing to go bankrupt to buy, because they want people to land on it so they can get money. Now, the funny part about it, if you want to look at it, you can say, oh, well, that's being greedy, and that's being, you're trying to have power, and you being greedy, and you just want to see other people fail, which you can see it that way. But at the same time, if you want to win the game, everybody starts off at go. Everybody starts off with the same amount of money, and the only challenge is that whatever dice you roll, that's how many spots that you can move. So that's the only difference in the game, is what die, like, how many spots do you roll. So now you have to think of the strategy on based off of how many spots I move. Do I buy? Do I not buy? You have to think of the strategy. And these are the same strategies that we have to have in life, because it all depends on how we move. What do we do and how should we do it? And that's how I tie this all into boundaries, because if there are things that you are wanting to do in life, you have to be strategic on what you are doing and how you are doing it, because you have people out there who are going to be the naysayers, or you can't do it, or why you think you can do that, or oh, you just trying to take from me, or oh, you're greedy. However people want to comprehend it as, you always have to strategize your next move. Everything is always about strategizing your next move. And so I love the game of Monopoly. Ended up buying it for myself this year, and I have not found, as a matter of fact, 2020, I have not found nobody to play with me. So I will be finding some people that I can play Monopoly with, because again, it is one of those games that really, you could just think of it as, oh, it's just a game and that's it. Or you can actually really play the game and be like, this is really really beneficial on how to move in life. And so also another strategy that an example that I love to share with people. So when you're actually looking for a job, you need a job. Why do you need a job? You need a job because you need money. Well, why do you need money? Well, you need money to pay for your bills, take care of yourself, get the things that you need, the things that you want, the things that you like. It's just not going to come to you, so you have to put in some time to earn an income to go and afford those things. And so without a job, you have to look for a job. Now, when you look for a job, do you just look for one job and say, here's one job, I applied for this one job and I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna wait for this one job to call me back? No. Once you sit there and wait and the job don't call you back, then what do? You're just sitting there not earning any income. So now you apply for another job. If you sit and wait on that one, then you're just sitting there waiting. But what the smart people would do, apply for multiple jobs, line up multiple interviews. So now there's options to where, okay, I applied here and here and here and here. I applied to 5 places. 4 of them gave me a call back. 1 said, we've moved on with someone else, and 3 want to interview with 3 of those people. And now you are weeding out through what will be the best option for your life. Interview with 1. This one is not paying that much. This one, it's too far, but it pays way more. Hi, welcome to We Love LA. Have my girl on the line, Miss Louisa. Welcome. But yeah, just, you have all of these different places you are applying for, and the 3rd job might just be the right one. You never know. But the fact is, you got to have options. In order to have those options, where you were looking through those 3, you strategized in between which one is going to be the best fit for you. So now that strategy came through, now you make the best decision for you and your family. The same way I use that same strategy with your money. If you have one job, one income, and that job is not promising, if you lose your job, then what is going to happen? Do you have enough money saved somewhere where you can live without having to be on that job anywhere between 3 to 6 months? It happens all the time. When the pandemic hit, I known so many businesses to go out of business. A really good friend of mine, she had a really successful vegan Cuban cafe, the only in the world, had to liquidate because of the pandemic. And that really had broke my spirit at the fact that this was something that this woman put her blood, sweat, and tears into, and pandemic had to close her business down. But just imagine people who actually were depending on their jobs, and they've been furloughed, and now there's nothing available. There was no real strategy set in place to where there's backup money. Some people were able to survive and some people didn't. But we have to be mindful on the strategies that we set in our life, because we don't know what is going to happen in the future. Nobody didn't know the pandemic was going to happen. But we all know that we need to eat, we need to have shelter, we need to take care of ourselves. And so you gotta set those boundaries on what is it that you're going to do to make sure that you are able to take care of you and your family. Set up the boundaries and tell some people, no, this is not going to be this, I can't make this party, or I'm not going to be able to do this. I have to focus on making sure that my foundation is set. And you have to strategize what is going to be a really great option for you and your family. And so those are just some examples I wanted to share in regards to having boundaries set in your life and strategizing through those boundaries. What else is another example? Ooh, how some guys would like to say, what is it? They're sport fishing. A lot of guys would actually date a lot of girls, or vice versa. A lot of women would date a lot of guys to pick out, the right guy that's going to be for them. It's a strategy. Now, most women, we don't want to talk to multiple guys because we don't want to seem like a whore, but it's okay for a guy to do it. However you want to see it, it's still the fact that here it is, a guy can go around and be like, oh, I like this girl and I want to spend time with her and her and her and her until they find the right one. But if a woman were to do the same thing, then it's just like, oh, you a whore, you sleeping with him. What if you're not sleeping with everybody? But what if you are, what if she's looking for that right guy, the right man that's going to be a man however she see fit? Just the same way a man is out looking for a wife. He's gonna have to date around. And so the whole strategy is that, yes, you have to date multiple people to find the right one. And so there's strategies to everything. I remember the strategy that what made me come up with this whole talk about strategies was I saw a homeless person, and I was always wondering why they would stand in particular areas. And you don't really see homeless people in Beverly Hills and things like that. They keep it really clean. But I notice you see homeless people, they may be, by a gas station or the freeways, things like that, where it's very convenient, where they know cars will stop. They're close to restaurants or drive-through restaurants where they know people are exchanging money to where they can get change. And so I never thought about that's an actual strategy. But let me strategize. If I stand on this corner at this time of the day, I notice the traffic is more heavier during this time of the day and this time in the evening. If I stand here between these hours, I could possibly make this amount of money. So it's just like, I just thought that was just so crazy that that's an actual strategy as well. Another funny one, well, this one is actually funny. May not be funny, but I remember going to a strip club about 10 years ago in Vegas, and I'm not going to disclose the name because they are not paying me, but anywho, I remember there was some girls walking around on the floor, and one of the girls introduced herself as Barbie, and I'm looking at Barbie and I'm just like, oh, okay, Barbie. Then it wasn't even 5 minutes later, Barbie was at the table not too far, but the DJ called for Barbie to get up on the stage to perform. And I noticed that was not the same girl on the stage that was just at our table, because she was at the table not too far. So I started to think, and then I realized there was no real DJ. They just had some music on shuffle. The girls was on rotate. And I was like, wow. And they only had certain girls walking the floor to where they never got any stage action, because they probably was not at the appearance of what they would want to be seen, or they just did not know how to work the pole. Whatever. So the whole point that I'm making is that I've noticed that this particular strip club, which they all might do the same thing, but I realized the strategy behind their business plan, and I thought that was absolutely smart. So I share all of that to say is that everything have a strategy behind it. You have to strategize everything in your life, and you have to create those boundaries, because whatever you are going to strategize in your life, you have to make sure that you create the boundaries to where it meet the needs, to make sure that you and your family are taken care of. And so don't take me to heart. I have a lot of experiences just by experiencing things, and so I love to tell stories. I am a professional storyteller, not a liar, but I've experienced, and so I love to share stories. And I am a visionary to where I can actually sit down and break down an actual business plan. I can add more value. I just know that that was my mission, that's my calling, to be able to share as much wisdom and knowledge to the world. And so this is why I do these weekly live videos on Instagram, and I post them on my YouTube page. So again, please double tap on the video, follow my turn on your notifications, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel at Where We Going Now sheet. And so again, I am part of the missionary to share with the world, you know, how you can live an amazing life. I know I add value to people's lives, love to give, and I know the best gift that you can give to anybody is the knowledge for them to be sustainable, to live this life and live an amazing life. And so I wanted to say again, thank you for joining me tonight on Where We Go, We Love LA. Again, my YouTube channel is Where We Going Now She. We are moving officially to Monday night starting next week Monday, so the time will still be the same at 7:30. If there was anything in regards to this video that you liked, leave a comment, drop a comment. Love to leave comments, and I do respond to all of my comments. If there's any kind of topic that you would love for me to talk about, or maybe I might know about, give me a buzz. You can send me a nice DM and I can most definitely discuss about that. Also, if you are very interested in learning about the New Year resolutions and New Year money, there will be a live webinar this coming Thursday at 6:30 p.m. There will be a Zoom webinar showing people how they can actually save their money without tax fees, without tax penalties, and so many more benefits. So again, you know, it is part of my my duties and my purpose on this earth to share amazing wisdom that is going to have you to live your best life. And so if you want to get more information about the live webinar that's happening this coming Thursday, where you can actually grow and save your money without any taxes, please do give me a DM, double tap on my video, and have a good night. Blessings, and see you next week.